I have an idea. Let's record a shitty intro. Just strum it.
Okay.
This is the Zach and Aakash show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Zach and Aakash show. Coming
Good
at
morning.
you, live from Connecticut. It's my radio voice right there.
Dude, you know, we gotta do a little intro. Just be like, I'm Zach and I'm Aakash. This is
All right,
Zach and Aakash show.
do it right now. I'm Zach,
I'm Aakash.
and this is the Zach and Aakash show. Yeah, so
we talk about money, tech, business, and curiosity.
you forgot about the big one today, which is self-improvement.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we hope you're all having a great Monday. I know it just started. I know there's some people watching now, which is pretty awesome. So, yeah, we're gonna help you out with some with our little story and self-improvement, I guess, in our short
Yeah.
time being alive. Yeah.
But before that, let's enjoy a quick coffee bean. The key to self-improvement is every morning starts with a nice coffee bean. The daily coffee bean.
Exactly.
There it is. Look at that nice crack.
Look at that. Gary V's live. He's trying to steal our audience.
Cucking us yet again.
Yeah, cucking us yet again. Yeah, so I guess so we reorganized. So Mondays are meant for self-improvement, so you can take whatever knowledge you learn from us on Monday and apply it for the rest of the week. Because the week is just starting right now. So yeah, so Akash, how have you improved your life in the past? No longer day, but week. We'll move that a bit here.
I don't know, man. Last week was really good. I'm finally in a nice schedule because when quarantine started, I was all over the place. You know, in the beginning, I was just playing video games all day. Then I was just watching TV all day, and then I don't know. I just wasn't doing much at all. But the past week, I finally got a nice schedule down where I get everything I need to get done in the morning. So it goes. I wake up 8ish, lay in bed for a bit. I do this thing with all of you. And right after, I meditate, do my stretches because I have a knee and shoulder injury, so I got to stretch for that. And then I shower. And then right after that, just say hi to my family, come back and get started with working on my stuff. The only break I really take is for lunch. And then I have like these 3 things I get finished. And then after those 3 things, I don't have to work more. I can just enjoy the day, do whatever I want. I give myself permission to relax. And that's been working really well for the past week. Also, I've been after I don't know how long ago did we cover journaling. I think it was Thursday or
Yeah.
last Wednesday or
A couple
something.
days ago. Yeah.
But since then, I've been doing that too. That's been a huge help keeping me on track. So it's been going pretty good.
Right
How
on.
about you,
Right
Zach?
on. I did some yoga this morning. 15
Oh
minute
yeah, how'd that
yoga.
go?
It was good. Felt good. Yeah, I'm trying to get back into being active a little because, well, when you're at school, it's like built in. You just walk to class and you stretch out your legs that way. You get your exercise doing that. But obviously, I can't do that, so I'm trying to have a low barrier to entry. That's something I guess we can cover later today. But I'm starting with a low barrier to entry, which is just a 15-minute yoga in the morning. It's relaxing. It's not crazy, just to like ease in. And coupled with that, I'm trying to
Nice.
get back into waking up around maybe 6. I think 6 is a good time because it'll give me time to do yoga and then write at 6:30, which is what I want to try to do this week. So
Cool.
yeah, man.
Solid. You're a certified yogi now after your
Yeah.
first 15-minute session.
Hell yeah, man. So,
Cool.
self-help's been quite the journey for us, I guess. I was thinking about this last night, and my journey has 3 stages, 3 like realizations. We're on the 3rd right now. This is the 3rd, so it's still work in progress. But the first one that I went through, which was when I started, was like end of high school into freshman year. It was kind of like a realization there. Um, there's kind of it was like an okay one, and the next one was summer to fall, that whole sophomore year, and now we're on the third, um, which is like I'd say winter break is when it started. Yeah, winter break is when this like well, yeah, I'd say winter break is when this one started.
Okay.
Yeah, never actually thought, but like I guess there's like separate occasions where that happened.
Well, take it through them. Take it. Let's go through your journey. We'll quickly go through that, and then we'll go through mine, and then we'll
Okay.
dive deeper into parts of it, I guess.
Oh God, this is gonna be some vulnerability chat. Get ready. Okay, so the first one was actually after a breakup. I was like, damn, I'm fucking free. So I was like, all right. So I started reading. The first book I read was Mark Manson's book, um, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck or something. So I guess
Mm,
that was like the introduction where it started to get me to think. Because before it was like not really much self improvement. It was like, occasionally you'd watch those like motivational videos or speeches, and that's like it. No actual work. So that kind of got me thinking, jumping into it. So I would like think about it throughout my days within freshman year. So I did that freshman year, really thinking, what do I want to do? Blah 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 blah. So that happened. Then then I started my internship after that. I was interning, and then I went away to this like Tony Robbins thing. And I guess that was the second one, kinda. But it brought me into, okay, I want to start doing shit for real now. So we started doing follow, and I joined another startup after follow, and I started hanging out with people who were going to support those interests in university. And then once those were done, there was a period, I'm sure you remember, where we were just kind of like, shit, we kind of like did everything. So it's kind of like a
yeah.
buffer period. We call that the
Hmm.
period of ED. If you're familiar with our lore, so that was the period of like um, ED, and then after that, um, I think it was around November. I was like, okay, it's time to like start figuring out my identity and like all that stuff. I had already worked on it in the past, but it was like, all right, it's time to finally like nail all this stuff down and not just define myself based off of like places I've traveled or like my major. It was time to like actually figure out what my values were, and start longer term projects, because the projects I've started in the past were like maybe 1 year projects, a couple of months. University isn't really a long term project. That's 4 years, but most people will,
Yeah.
will graduate if you just put in a little bit of effort. So now I'm
Right.
on
And there's
the
a
long
cap
term.
to it,
Yeah,
so
there's a
it
cap.
doesn't feel long term for sure.
So now I'm on like the long term grind, which is
The long
like
term grind.
um, putting out or creating like a personal brand, and really thinking about, because I know you and I were quick to like try to jump onto a new um, project before, but now we're like, all right, let's take our time. We have fucking, I don't know. I mean, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow or something, but we have probably a good
Well,
80,
probably
90
not tomorrow. Are
years.
you are you saying you're leaving your house then? You've been not practicing social distancing?
Yeah, that's right. I walk
Whoa.
around my yard. But
Truck,
yeah,
garbage truck, Ramsey.
we got 90 years or so left to live, probably. Obviously, shit happens and you could die
Hopefully.
early. Hopefully, I'm gonna assume for now, but
Yeah.
that gives you time to like actually improve. So this whole pandemic thing is actually a, we'll talk about it later, but it's actually a blessing in disguise
Yeah, no,
because
I've been
yeah,
thinking that too about the pandemic. We'll go into that. So my whole thing very similar to Zach. It started my senior year of high school. Um, I don't know. I didn't really care about much back then, I guess, other than playing video games or something. And after, I'd say probably the December, I went to India, and I got this book right here
Ooh.
about some entrepreneur in India, friend of my dad's, and I don't know. It just got me thinking like maybe I could do that. I could be that person. So I really started to grind on my career. I actually started to get serious about coding, and then I was really focused on that. On business entrepreneurship and coding. So a lot of my freshman year of college was defined around that, and that was fun. I learned a lot my freshman year, setting me up for one of my startups on during sophomore year. Then I guess I kind of went through phases too. Sophomore year, kind of leading into junior year, I was more working on myself. I guess one, expanding my social circle. That was another thing I was focused on working on. While also simultaneously now I was actually working with a startup that I started with a few of my friends. And that kind of the end of my sophomore year led me to my second phase where I was like, okay, maybe chasing after all these people to be their friends is not the way to go. And then I had some like internal revelation on how you automatically click with people for a reason. Don't chase people. It's fine. You don't have to like everyone. Not everyone has to like you. That type of thing. And also through my startup, I also realized that I should be smarter about who I do work with. Just because it's my friend, a friend might be good in one context, but not be good in like a more business context. So just more learning. My junior year, leading into my senior year, uh, I went through the whole like fitness revolution where I was improving myself. I was getting a lot more serious about my fitness, my diet, my workouts, all of that. But also on the side, I was doing follow with Zach. Well, while doing it, there wasn't too much improvement. We were just living on the high of working on a startup.
Hell yeah.
But towards the end of that May when it all stopped, I felt really lost, and that whole summer too. Without that startup kind of guiding what I was going to do, it was just like me just floating around with I don't know, it got me like looking a lot more inward and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I realized anything I'd been doing so far is just because I thought it would be good to do. I wasn't really sure it was what I wanted to do internally. And again, this part of our journey was kind of synced post follow the fall. Just pretty much wanting to work on different projects to get that follow high back. But once we realized we couldn't get that high back again, we both really sat down, looked inwards to see what we wanted to do, and then yeah, this whole journey with building our brand, I guess, and putting ourselves out online started.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, yeah, I guess that's our story.
Hmm.
The title of this is How to Get Started with the Self-Improvement. I think I was supposed to change that because we said it was a swear word. But
Yeah.
wait, what was it supposed to be?
I don't know, your first steps towards a new you or something like that.
Yeah. So sometimes things present themselves to you. So like I guess the pandemic presented itself to you. You may be ready, you may be more ready than you need to be, or not ready at all. Um, but sometimes things just present themselves, and that's usually what starts your journey. So
Yeah,
if you want
I get
to improve, you might want to try, seeking things that you've always wanted to do, and that ultimately is what leads to like the realization. If you listen to previous podcasts, I was actually listening to a clip the other day, but you have to really walk the walk in order to see clearly where you were
hmm
wrong or where you were right, or see something that you've never seen before. Um, yeah.
I think when a lot of people are trying to improve somewhere or in something, you have that tendency to think that at one point everything will just click. You just got to sit there and wait. But that's not how things click, not from you sitting there waiting. They click from you, again, walking the path, walking the walk, living through and then looking back to see what you did wrong, what you did right. It's a slower process, you know,
Hmm.
and it's not one huge click. It's a bunch of small clicks that happen over time that you realize like a year later, and it feels like a huge click, but it's not really that huge click.
Yeah, and if you want like a metric to know if you improved, if you look back on your life and you're like, wow, that kid was an idiot. Like, you listen to yourself. That means you improved. I use that as a metric. Um, yeah, not just external things, but it's like, can I look back and be like, oh, wow, that guy. That is growth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, are you contradicting? You know, a lot of people are afraid to contradict their past selves and to go against it, but that's okay. It just means you're growing, you're changing, which is normal. And again, taking it back to something like quarantine or any any adversity in life, I guess that's the breeding ground for growth. That's where it all starts. Um, you know, you have two options when it comes to adversity. You could either give into it and just be like, "Oh man, this is all shit," and stay like that, or you could look the other way. You can be like, "All right, shit is how it is. Am I gonna let that stop me, or am I gonna make the best, take advantage of it, and grow from there?"
Yeah.
Um, and I'd say the first step in any journey such as this is realizing that you want to make the improvement. I guess a lot of people are just going about and they don't know if they want to change anything. They're just fine with what they are, which is great. But Zach, what do you do once you realize, you know, take yourself back to the absolute beginning? What do you do once you realize you want to change and you want to become a better you?
Start simple. Um, there's two types of self improvement out there. There's the Mark Manson version, which is more like Eastern stuff, and then there's like the Tony Robbins one. It was just it borrows Eastern stuff, but it's also like, I don't know, massive change and stuff like that. So I've been on both ends before. Usually when I'm like, shit, my life is exploding, I'll start simple. So right now, um, do something simple, like get up at a consistent time every day. If you can do that, keep building. Make your bed every day. If you can do that, keep building, clean your room or something. Um, Slowly keep building to build momentum until you have the momentum to do something bigger. Um, yeah, that's usually what I do when I start.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'll put it this way: when most people start, definitely when I started, now there's a huge self improvement community on YouTube. Um, these guys are more popular now than they were back then, like Matt Diavella and Nathaniel Drew. I guess even someone like the business gurus like Gary V. You know, even they'd fall under this hood, or who's that guy, Tom Bilyeu? They'll fall under this hood too. So many different types of people you can listen from, and it gets overwhelming. And you get to a point where you're just consuming and consuming all this information, and that's a weird stage because you sitting there consuming all this information, your brain doesn't know the difference between someone else doing it and you imagining yourself doing it and you actually doing it and making that change. So you're going to get the hit of dopamine from just watching all these videos. And you realize like a few months into that you haven't actually accomplished anything. You're just watching a bunch of videos. And that just sucks because what's the point of all of this when you're not actually improving? So the first thing you got to do is recognize, you know, it is good to have all these supplemental videos because you're lost in the beginning, you don't know where to start. So it's good to get ideas of different types of self-improvement, trying to figure out where you want to go. But the most important thing is actually doing something. You know, it doesn't have to be the right thing, but just start.
yeah, I less is more. I recommend, pick someone who, so find someone that you think is like someone you want to be or you really respect. That's going to be your model. You're going to pick that one person. You're only going to listen to that advice from that person, and you're going to get rid of all the other shit. Um, a lot of the YouTube self-help stuff is, in my opinion, it's cool to look at and stuff, but it's kind of a lot of it's kind of garbage. It's
Yeah, I mean, that was the point of my whole trailer for for this yesterday,
yeah,
right? It's they all spew out the same bullshit. You know, wake up at 5 a.m.
take a cold shower.
and yeah, take a cold shower, meditate, and that's all fine. That all works for some people, I guess. But they kind of apply that like it's a formula for success for everyone. I'm like, no, it's not. Personally, waking up at 5 a.m. makes me feel like shit. That's why I don't do it. Um, but you got to look at why do they say wake up at 5 a.m. Because um, it gives them time to be productive. Use that for your own life. If waking at 5 or 4 a.m. is what's making you productive, then sure, by all means, go do it. But for me, I don't need to be up that early to be productive. I have different times of the day where I am productive. You know, it's in the end, it's a one big journey of finding yourself, as a cliche and woohoo as
That's
that
true.
sounds.
No, it's true. It's you're gonna basically chip away at things you thought were you, and you're gonna realize that you didn't want that. With this whole YouTube thing, I've chipped away a lot of stuff that I was like, wow, that's not me. So when I started to do the trend and say 6 tips to get an internship, I realized that one, I wanted to do more intellectual work with this like brand. So I started writing. I started the podcast. Although we can be fucking stupid sometimes, it's more intellectual because it's like live and you can't really edit this, or we haven't been editing it for a reason. Um, but yeah, so I was like, I don't care about subscribers. I'd rather give value. And the same thing happened with the startup stuff. I was like, do I really need to be clout chasing right now? Does like a cool car matter? Does a big house matter? Not really. Um, it's not that important. I'd rather have a tiny apartment with like white and gray furniture. Because it's cool. But yeah, you end up chipping away at pieces. Of course, we may chip away and be like, wow, why are we podcasting? In my opinion, it seems
Yeah,
unlikely because I don't know, we've made it this far and I don't want to die. So, yeah,
yeah, and yeah. I mean, it's about finding your own personal goal. Not the goal that's cool in society. You know, if you truly, and Gary Vee says this all the time. You know, if you truly want a house, a huge house or a car, 100% for yourself, just because you're like really into cars or houses, then by all means work for that. Use that to motivate you. But if you just want that to show off to someone else, let me tell you, no one else really gives a shit. They do for like 5, 10 seconds and then they stop.
yeah, I got a pretty bad story about that. Um, it was back after we got money for our startup. I went over to this girl and we just started talking, and just out of the blue, I was like, "Yeah, we just got funding," and she's like, "What?" She gave me a fake number. So yeah, I think that was a big wake up call. Um, People don't give a shit. They care about you, not your stupid Gucci.
hmm Yeah, for sure. So I would okay. So let's take this back to the beginning, the absolute beginning. What can you do? So like Zach said, uh, find one person. Maybe I wouldn't say it's completely bad if you want to find few YouTubers in the beginning. Maybe the first month, set yourself a time limit. In that time, figure out exactly which part of your life you want to improve. The way I see it, the way I've personally generalized it, there's 3 aspects you could improve, right? Your social, your career, and then your fitness. At least that's the 3 aspects I break my life into. Figure out which part you really want to improve, and pretty much in the beginning, put all the other things on the back burner. Um, So say you are really fit right now, that's working fine, and your social life is great, then let those two sit. Don't let go of those. Learn how to maintain those, but now start completely focusing on career and watch people on YouTube who help boost career, like Gary Vee or Tom Bilyeu or people like that. And then once you see them, once you start consuming a few of them, pick the one you vibe with the most, you idolize the most, and then go with them. Do what, like, follow in their footsteps, do what they tell you to do. And also, don't do everything at once. Start with something small, like waking up at a consistent time. That's been huge for me. If I don't wake up at a consistent time, everything else goes down the hole. Identify that keystone habit, I guess. And leading into that, learn how to create habits. That's a huge thing. Habits are huge. And this whole area is pretty much centered around habits and how you can develop positive habits and how you can get rid of negative habits. A couple good books are Atomic Habits by James Clear, I believe,
It's a good book, yeah.
and The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I think, honestly, those two books are the only books you need to really understand habits and learn how to create them in your own life, learn how to get rid of them.
Also, I think a good skill to adopt to that's universal for all self-improvement is just self-awareness.
Mm.
Knowing where your thoughts come from and why you do things. It's really powerful. It's gonna help you with everything because you'll know. Like it's weird. It's like for me, it's like a gut feeling. It's like you just know. You're like, all right, chill or something. Um, you know when things are going poorly. So that's a good skill. You can learn that partially from meditating. You can learn it by just sitting and like thinking. Like now that we're in the pandemic, you can't really distract yourself with all the flashing lights and stuff. It's just you and
Mm,
yourself right now, pretty much. So
yeah.
it's probably good for a lot of people right now to just sit and like think. Like while you're brushing your teeth, just like think. You know, like what are you thinking about?
Yeah. Let's just call it thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even call it meditating because
It's a
people
swear
think
word.
meditating is a certain thing you do. Yeah. And I don't know, you don't need to meditate. People think it's like,
It's too
crossing your
mystical.
legs, sitting
Yeah.
with your arms out like this, going like, Om for a while. No, literally, the times I do my best thinking is I just go out for a lot of drives. I just randomly drive around everywhere for like half an hour or something. Or I go on hikes or something, and that gives me a lot of time to just think,
Or just
zone out.
while you're sitting, playing video games, take a deep breath. Everyone listening, do that right now. Ready? Breathe in, breathe out. Does that feel good? Everyone who's fucking
Breathe
stressed.
out, breathe out from like the bottom of your diaphragm,
Everyone,
from
yeah, like
from the
feel it.
back all the way down. Yeah.
Feel your body move and stuff. Doesn't that feel better now that you think you're gonna die of the coronavirus, even though you have a 1% chance based on who's listening? Do we feel better now? But like, yeah, okay, so we won't call it meditating, but like, breathe. Just like take a second, like while you're like panicking, take a second and pause. Be like, and then like, if you feel like, start listening to your emotions. If you feel like anger, just say that was anger. Or you feel happy, be like, that was happy. Or you feel like a behavior damaged you, be like, that was damaging. That's all you got to do. Do that
Yep.
for like,
Don't stop. Don't control. Just observe
yeah, pretty
and
much.
get good at observing yourself from the third person perspective.
Like I know some of you might be daydreaming right now, so I just got you to pay attention. I bet you I just got you to pay attention again. That's daydreaming. Pay attention. Got him. All right. Yeah. All right. Moving
Yeah.
on. That was, I guess, yeah. I guess those are the two core skills. It's self-awareness and habits.
Hmm. And
Time,
honestly, the rest of it
patience,
is like mumbo jumbo built
bullshit.
around that. Yeah, not necessarily bullshit. I'd say ways to kind of abstract from that, make it a bit easier. But if you master, in my opinion, those two core
Actually,
things, yeah, you
three.
can build everything out of that.
There's three. So it's self-awareness, habits, and patience. The
In
patience
a
is
way,
because the habits will take a long time, and you got to be patient
yeah,
with
that's
yourself.
fair. Okay, yeah, sure.
So that's those are the three pillars of the Zach and Akash religion.
The sass.
Self-awareness, self-awareness, patience, and habits. That's all you need to be a. I don't
Yeah.
want to say successful because that's also a swear word because it means
Well,
different things.
I would say successful, but
And I want to say happy
self
either.
use self awareness to define your
I
success.
guess, yeah.
I'll just put it that way. Your success.
And happiness
That's
has
however you want.
also become a swear word. It's like no one knows what that means. Um,
Yeah, you can't really chase happiness because
I guess
I
like
don't know. That's a drug too. If I was really chasing happiness, I could do a bunch of drugs and I guess I'd be happy all the time.
this
That's
sounds
just a chemical
weird, but
reaction.
you don't want to chase happiness necessarily because that's not going to make you happy. Um, I know it sounds weird because you're taught in school if you chase the A, you do your homework and stuff like that, and you get the A or you get to graduate. But now it's a little different. It's like you can't just chase it. Nothing will make you happy, which is that's a very
Start.
interest. That's a very no. It's a very interesting statement. Nothing will make you happy. Like if you think about it, there's two meanings. Having nothing will make you happy, and having a bunch of shit won't make you happy. Right? Do you see it? Nothing will make you happy. That's cool. That is a cool word. All right, you know what? All right, we're fucking
I
moving on.
read that.
Never mind.
All right, buddy. I don't know if
Nothing
I,
will make you happy. No, think
I get
about
the
it,
dual
dude.
meaning. It's a cool saying, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Nothing. All right, we'll agree to disagree. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we established your pillars. And now it's just gonna take time to develop those habits.
So yeah, that's another annoying thing about all this communities online is they make it feel like it's just gonna happen. You're just gonna do this one or two things, and suddenly, oh, you're gonna be happy, and it's all gonna work out. No, not true at all. What's gonna happen is one, you're gonna fail a lot at doing the one or two things here. It's gonna be really hard to stick to it, especially at the beginning. And two, once you do get it, you're gonna want to jump to the next thing. Because right now, thinking back, 4 years ago when I started this whole journey, I'm like, you got to take time to think back. Only when I think back do I realize how far I've come in those 4 years. But when you're just sitting there chasing the next thing, it doesn't necessarily feel that way. It feels like you're still where you started, and you're still climbing for something else. Um, I guess in a loophole way, I got to the importance of gratitude. That's another important thing. Um, Sitting there and thinking back, and not the regular gratitude mumbo jumbo where you gotta just sit there and be thankful for everything. Obviously, do that. It's good for you. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I don't really care. But do be grateful for where you were and where this journey has taken you. You gotta look back and see where you come from. Because if you don't, it's this never-ending cycle of just chasing the next thing and then the next thing, going again and again. And remember, the whole reason you started this is to become a new you, you could be proud of. So take time to appreciate it. Take time to celebrate it.
Connect the dots, looking backwards, as Steve Jobs would say. Yeah, but I guess that leads to an interesting point. Is yeah, you're gonna fail a lot. Uh, get ready because you think things will get easier after you improve, but shit gets really hard. Um, but you learn to deal with it, which is good. So like what happens, I view it like a stock market. You know, your mood will peak and it'll drop to like a low and go up. It'll like kind of do that, I guess, like with life. Um, every once in a while, something crazy will happen. You know, maybe you'll fuck up your knee and you can't go to the gym, or it'll snow and you can't go to the gym, or maybe a fucking pandemic will happen because of the Chinese government and you can't go to the gym. But you know what? It happens. Get used to it because that's life. See how that escalated?
Yeah, and and many times before you reach a new level of enlightenment, we'll call it that, new level of enlightenment, there's going to be a period of darkness and a new low, which is what I guess the ED, again, when we're talking about ED, we're talking about entrepreneurial depression.
Not erectile dysfunction. I assure you,
just
everything
to
works.
clarify. Yeah. But that like huge semester where we're just wandering around trying to figure it out, that was a low. But that was a low we needed to get through to reach a new level of where we are right now. Not to say we're like this high level looking down or some shit, but just personally
I
from where
say,
we were before.
my gut tells me I'm about at a 6.5 out of 10 right now.
The fuck does that even mean?
That's like
What?
10 is like fucking Buddha.
Oh,
One
gotcha.
one is like gulag. Gulag.
Gulag.
But like my gut is like 6.5. I listen. Your body knows.
Yeah.
Silence.
No, no, I don't know. I
You'll
don't
you'll
know.
learn,
That's a,
Akash. You'll learn.
I don't want to learn.
Your body just knows.
I don't want to change. I want to
Fine.
stay.
This is like turning into pseudoscience now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you could tell, but we didn't really plan out any of this, so we're kind of just going with the flow as things come to our mind,
Yeah,
which is
kind
what
of.
we're doing. So what we're doing is doing like intro episodes. To, if you look at the thumbnail, to like each of the four things. Now this is the Buddha part of it,
The
the
Buddha.
self enlightenment.
The Buddha.
Last week was the career part of it. We're just setting our foundation to each part of this on future episodes. We could go more in depth. That's a cute Buddha.
There's a hole.
I want to drink out of that belly right now.
Dude, we could have some. You guys put a scorpion bowl in this.
Dude, you can shotgun from that, from
How
the
the?
back.
I don't want to do that. I think this is porcelain. It's made in China. Yeah, but yeah, this is an intro. Um,
Mm,
oh, another thing that's important we forgot to talk about is the importance of having a supportive friend group. Um,
yeah.
we found that group with like the worth people. Um, and so now you put 30 crazy people into one room. You're no longer crazy. You're normal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
again, the social aspect of it is a huge part too. And there'll be different phases and you'll find out different things, but having a good support system is really key.
Yeah.
Especially like a system that will appreciate you when you're at your top, they'll push you further, but also when you're doing something, they'll call you out that's like not the proper way or something, they'll call you out on your bullshit. That's key too.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't shotgun your friends. Don't pay for your friends either. A good friend is when you tell them you have this crazy idea, they'll listen, and if uh if you're looking for an opinion, they'll give you opinion. If you're not looking for an opinion, they won't say anything. That's a good friend. Or like, I don't know, someone you can call a year from now and still be like, hell yeah, we're vibing.
Hell yeah.
uh,
No, it's a yeah, shotgun approach does not work because you get to a point where you meet all these new people, you have all these friends, and then you realize it's so hard to maintain a relationship with all of these people at the same time. So you end up being a shitty friend, or people end up being shitty, and it just gets way too overwhelming to handle.
and
Instead, have what I'm saying,
sometimes,
just like
oh, okay.
have a few tight friends, and then a bunch of acquaintances.
Yep.
It's the ideal way to deal with it.
Sometimes you're gonna have to drop your friends too, which sucks, but you just got to do it because if they're like legitimately holding you back, you want to go there, but they want to bring you there, you need to get rid of them. I've done that before, and it sucks, but
Hmm.
it's part of life, and I would not be here now if I didn't drop some of those people. So
Yeah, it's honestly one of the hardest things to do, especially like if you've known them for a long time or something. But gotta do what you gotta do for you.
and sometimes you might look back and be like, "Damn, I shouldn't have dropped them," but like you had your reasons, I guess.
Yeah, because over time you forget the exact emotions you had back then. So you it's not as intense. So maybe you go back to thinking you shouldn't have, but then also back in the day, there was a reason you did it. You wouldn't have just done it for no reason. So
We remember the sweet moments where you're like, "Damn, they were a cool friend," but you're also not remembering why you dropped them, as I stroke my mustache. Going for a Fu Manchu stream. What do you guys think? I'm gonna shave this pretty soon.
I had to let it grow till the end of
I
quarantine.
might shave my.
Oh yeah,
I'm
now
not
get
getting.
rid of
I
the
am,
sideburns.
dude. I am
Get
not
rid of
getting
the
a beard.
sideburns.
I'm not getting a beard. I'm gonna get a Fu Manchu. I've
What about
decided.
in like 20 years?
Maybe, but I don't think that's gonna happen based on my
No.
genetics. No.
Does your what about? I guess you got to look at your mom's siblings, right? That's what the haircut people always say.
It's this.
Did they got beards?
Nope. All this.
All right, yeah,
That's
you're right.
okay. I'll rock it. It'll. Whatever. Yeah. Also, don't take life too seriously. That's like my big premise that I came up with. Like, you're not gonna die if you forget a homework or something. You're not gonna die if you like, I don't know, get enough. I guess I don't know, dude. Just don't take life too seriously. Fucking, that's it.
No, and also one thing I've just been realizing. I know this episode might be, um, I guess, all over the place right now, and we're not giving you like solid steps on how to approach it. But that's just because, again, we're trying to keep it real.
Yeah.
There is no solid steps that's gonna work for everyone. It's honestly your personal journey, and it's hard to describe it for everyone. So, we don't want to be like every other person on YouTube, just like giving you these few solid steps because I haven't been through that. That doesn't work for me. The exact steps they say. You got to find out what motivates you, what works for you. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess take that for what you will.
Yeah. It's gonna. It'll take a really long time to like unravel what the fuck everything means. Um, like sometimes you're like, man, I get it now. I completely get it. But a year later, you'll look back and be like, shit. Okay, I see. I'm no longer blind. Um,
And another really important thing from that is a year is not that long a time.
that's
I
true.
know a lot of things you have to be dedicated for a whole year, at least at the minimum, and that might scare you away from it. But just take it day by day, and realize that a year is not too long. Because a lot of things, I realized if I started a year back when I originally set out to start, I would be in a much better place now. But I didn't. So really like, take this as a sign to start it now and stick with it for a year. I know a year can seem overwhelming. It seems like this huge chunk of time, but just take it day by day. It's not that far. It comes by like that.
This is the Zach Confucius saying, like the other thing. A week may be long, but a year is short.
No.
No, but what I'm saying is a lot can happen in a week. Um, you need to be decisive in your actions and then replicate them 52 times. I do week cycles. That's why I say a week can be a long time. A week can be short as well if you fucking do nothing. Like when you're like actively doing stuff, you get more time. Let me ooh.
Yep. Woo.
Ooh. But okay,
No,
we're yeah.
it's like escaping if you have the same routine and again. Of course, it's all going to blend in. It's going to feel fast. But if you're doing a lot and if it's changing, then it's going to feel slower. It's going to feel like a huge chunk of time has passed by, even though it's literally just a week.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. This is like turning into a shit ton of topics. But like also, we only have 10 minutes left. But also like make sure you're not just keeping yourself busy. That's like that's fool's gold right there. Um,
Yeah,
notice
that's huge.
how notice how we've been documenting this since the beginning. Notice how we cut down as opposed to adding more. Um, yeah, we're now focused just on the podcast, and somehow we did a lot better within like a couple days. And we're like, okay, wow, that like 15-minute conversation,
Maybe,
maybe.
maybe, because we this is also when we started promoting on our personal Insta, so
Well, also
that's
like
also brought about.
on an internal level, like that 15-minute conversation we had led this to being a little more organized throughout the week, and it feels less overwhelming.
Mhm.
So you're frozen, by the way. Oop, Akash is dead. We'll wait for him to come back. But yeah, don't don't trick yourself into don't trick yourself into doing busy work because you think it's self-improvement. Checking hundreds of emails won't help you. Studying for like 12 hours, maybe it works for you, but I don't think that's going to help you. Um, get some
The
goddamn
only
sleep.
time it works for me is if I haven't studied all semester and it's finals time, so I study all night, and then it helps. But
That's true.
any other time, I would not recommend it unless you're cramming.
That's true. Yeah. Uh, that's all I got.
Yeah, everything's situational, and the only common factor is you. So figure out who you is,
You is.
and you is.
Everyone left.
Figure out who you is, and yeah, take it from there, and then fit everything to match you because that's the only thing that's common. And, always put effort into yourself.
100%. Damn. Frozen again. Gosh, come back. At least he got his final word in before he froze. Um, fuck. See, this is why we need Patreon, so I can get a fucking Ethernet cable. He's back.
Are you back?
You're back.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much the gist of it.
Oh shit.
Anything else, Zach?
Um, no. That's it.
All right. Cool. Well, we hope that.
Fucking shit. He meant to say, I hope that helped for everyone who's wondering what he was about to say. Um, yeah. We're having internet issues. You're back.
I don't know why this keeps happening.
I,
But
I I said
while
what
I'm
you were
still
gonna
here,
say. I hope that helped.
anyway, yeah, I'm excited for any of you who start because of this, because that's a pretty cool thing. Um, good luck on your journey. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be hard.
Long and hard.
And well, as long as we're doing this, we'll be here to support you through that. So if you're watching up here, there's our Insta, Spotify, podcast, Apple at the Zach and Akash Show. Um, DM us on Insta if you're confused with anything. We're here to help. And otherwise, thank you for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.